Hello, and welcome to another episode on my YouTube series called How Did It Start? Today, we'll be talking about YouTube and how it started and how it became what it is today. So, previously, we've been talking about other um, forms of social media, such as TikTok and Instagram and stuff. But, yeah, talking about YouTube today, it's I have a deeper connection with it. As you know, I'm a YouTuber and I just grew up watching it all the time, and it's a big part of my life, and probably yours too. Um, yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it. Yeah. So for today's YouTube episode, we've been actually really lucky enough to get into an interview with one of the creators named Jawed Karim. Um, yeah, he's been nice enough to do an interview with us, and he'll be kind of answering some questions for me, and also telling a story about how YouTube became what it is today. Hello, my name is Jawed Karim, and today I'll be telling a pretty unknown but essential story to the creation of YouTube. Um, yeah, I'll get right into it. So this story starts all the way back in 2004, about a year before the creation of YouTube. So it all starts in a dinner party where me and my friends went to another friend's dinner party, and later in the night, I decided that I wanted to send the photos that we took there to my friends. Um, Eventually, though, I found out just how difficult it was. You needed all of these, you need like the same downloader, you need to send a link, you needed same systems. It's a really difficult and just not worth it at the end. So from that, I came up with the idea of having a website where you didn't have to do any of these things, and you could literally just watch videos and share videos on a website instead of going through all of these pretty unnecessary and tedious processes. You don't. There's no point with it. So with that, I came up with this idea, and once I told my friends, yeah, we came up with the idea of YouTube. So my friends who were there with me, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and me, would go on to be the creators of YouTube, and yeah, it come to be what it is today. Yeah, so you might be wondering how just this idea goes from being an idea from a dinner party to one of the most important sites on the internet. Um, yeah, and this question actually brings me to the next part of my story, which starts. What doesn't start? It takes place in my garage, where me and my friends had started developing and working on YouTube for a few months, and we already started. After a few months passed from the dinner party, we'd already began running into problems. Um, for some context, at least, I haven't said this before, but I had a girlfriend at the time, and also I was having some problems with my parents. They'd always been very strict to me, and were the kind of family that wanted me to do well, but really only valued education and saw that as the only way of having any kind of success. Um, One time, I would want to do sports outside of school, but then just because I had tests or my grades were a bit low, I wouldn't be allowed to do anything, and I'd have to finish all my homework first. I always had a complicated relationship with my family. In fact, even once, just because I was playing a game while I had to do homework, I was grounded for a whole week. It's not nice. And with the fact that they didn't even, like, no one in their family ever went to university or anything, there was a lot of pressure to keep going. And yeah, they always just gave me a lot of pressure to finish school and get a job. Yeah, so after a while of just developing and working on this, I found balancing all these different things to be super difficult. And eventually, I kind of neglected all my schoolwork and um, started really focusing on uh, just developing YouTube. And you might be wondering why I want to continue and why I kept going and why I even am doing this. And that's a bit complicated. for me, I think it's because I had just have the need to finish something that I came up with, or to complete a task. Um, but also at the same time, I didn't end up finishing, the school stuff. But I think a bigger um, reason why I wanted to continue this was because I knew it was a good idea. No one had done it yet. It was a great idea, and I knew I could make money. Yeah, so that was a big motivation. Um, yeah, so eventually, working on this for a few months, my parents would just nonstop call me, message me, telling me to, seeing how I'm doing, to see if I'm on track with school. And also my girlfriend, who she's pretty much out of the story until this point, I was neglecting a lot. I wouldn't see her for I'll see her once in about a few weeks, and eventually she was getting very upset. We'd be getting into fights constantly, and she even threw a water bottle at me once, and it was actually pretty hard. It hurt. Okay. Anyway, not important. So eventually, I was able. I couldn't balance any of these things, and yeah, I also got into many fights with my parents, and finally, they gave me a decision. They told me that either I go back to school and do my work and get a job, or um, they pretty much I'm left out of the family, because they saw me doing YouTube as a huge disappointment and pretty much going against everything they believed, and yeah, going against all their beliefs. So they believed that if I didn't um, go back to school and stuff like that, then I didn't deserve to be part of the family. So that was very rough. And also my girlfriend at the same time, she didn't really care that I was doing YouTube, but she still wanted time, which was difficult at the same time, because either way, doing whichever, I had pretty much no time to do it for her. So it just came to a boiling point at that point. I was stressed out, all these decisions, everything on my mind. I wanted to finish YouTube because I knew it was a good idea, and I had the urge to finish it for some reason. While my parents are stressing me out, and this girlfriend thing at the same time, it's too much for me. Okay, well, thank you, Jawed. That'd be it for today. But in the next episode, we'll be talking about, well, what goes next and what comes next, and how it goes from all these this boiling point of, all these decisions and stopping you from pursuing YouTube, to actually getting it published, not published, but getting into the internet and stuff. So yeah, watch out for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe.